My name is Brent Applegate, and I'll be your guide today to the mysterious world of concrete tile. So concrete roof tile has been around for about 150 years, and while modern production methods have greatly improved both the appearance and durability since the first tiles made in the 1800s, even these early tiles had a long demonstrated service life, in the 80-year range actually. And that's pretty important because they last, they're proven to last already, which is quite a rare thing in the roofing industry. So Janine there is holding up a tile. That's a 100-year-old tile. It came off a fully functioning roof, just to give you some idea. Tiles from a century or more ago were simply concrete poured into a mold and troweled smooth. Modern tile plants produce about 150 tile a minute using a very precise concrete mix made up of about 12 specific sizes of aggregate and then pressure extruded at about 5,000 psi. See the molds they're poured into and then they go through the machine. A 50-year non-prorated and fully transferable warranty is considered very conservative and has become the norm with all concrete roof tile manufacturers, some even bigger. It's considered to be conservative because modern producers expect to get an even longer service life than the 80 years plus already established historically by older concrete roof tiles. In North America, tile really started to take off as a common roofing product in the late 1950s, largely as a response to the demand for non-combustible roof material in the wake of all the devastating wildfires, especially down in California and Arizona, where they lost 3,000 homes in Oakland in one fire, for example, when embers jumped from roof to roof. So modern tile manufacturing plants were built in the US during this time. Once the public became aware of the additional benefits inherent to concrete roof tiles, such as the aesthetics, they look great, good profile, I think everybody agree with that. The very low life cycle cost of a tile roof. Basically, it costs you so much a year to have it on. If it lasts 80 years, that's a good thing for life cycle costing. Then there's the great cooling effects, and we'll demonstrate that in a few minutes when they start doing the roof. But there's two complete roofs on the tile roof there. And so there's a real good cooling layer in the rain screen underneath of it. And of course, great environmental benefits because we're not continually filling up the landfill sites and dumping spent roofing products, which is quite a common thing these days during the re-roof cycles. And normal, they've got great wind, hail, freeze-thaw resistance, and all the things you'd expect from a roofing product. So while tile's very well established, and it's a greatly increasing part of the sloped tile market in the sloped roofing market in the United States, just to give you some idea of how well established, last year they produced about 15 million square. I assume we've got a fairly educated audience here, so basically you know what a square is. So 100 square foot area, 10 feet by 10 feet is a roofing square. So that would be like 1.5 billion square feet of tile went down in the States. Having said that, unfortunately these days, the reality in Canada is we did about 100,000 square last year. So we got a little catching up to do, but we're pretty confident that as it grows, we're gonna get there. So in the early days, about 20 years ago, they used to use a gray tile and they used to slurry coat it. So you'll probably see some of those. The problem with that particular method, and all the older tiles were all gray, so they got nice color in them, but the slurry unfortunately would wear off and then you have a gray tile again. So if you really wanted a colored tile, then that wasn't a great option for you. So now what happens is by the 70s you get all through tile. So the mix goes right through, it's all the iron oxide pigment is mixed right through the whole tile, so the color is always going to be there. You'll get a little bit of change as it weathers, but it's always right through the same intensity. Then you can do painted tiles, basically any color you could ever want. You can paint it with the high solids. Again though, if you do a painted tile, you're into a maintenance issue, and probably about every 15 or 20 years you're going to want to repaint that color to keep it vivid. However, painted tiles are put on top of color through tiles. So clay tile has also really been around for millenniums. I mean, much, much longer than concrete. And because of that, most people would commonly see a tile roof and they'd call it a clay tile roof. That's actually quite inaccurate up here. There's probably a half a dozen in all of Calgary that I'm aware of. All the rest would be concrete. And there are no clay tile manufacturers up here whatsoever in Canada. So the thing with clay is it's a wonderful product. It's been shown to last, 300-400 years, even longer. I mean, sometimes they take the clay tile down and demolish the house and put them on the next one. They really do in Europe and that. Somebody's nodding. You're from Europe? Or there you go. So what ends up happening is the clay tiles are wonderful if they're properly done. And unfortunately, you don't always know that to look at them when you first get them. What ends up happening with clay tiles is that they have to be fired at about